On Friday the 9th of August, Hossein Ronaghi, a political prisoner and blogger, restarted a hunger strike in protest of his poor condition in prison. The mother of this political prisoner expressed her concerns about her son's hunger strike to the International Campaign for Human Rights in Iran. She said that one of the prison officials, in response to her son's strike, said, "Carry on with your strike. What do you expect to happen? It will not be long until you die, and the story will be forgotten in a few days." A number of preschool teachers gathered in front of the parliament in protest of their current employment situation. Their protest was against their dismissal and the Ministry of Education's failure to cooperate. This took place when Haji Babai was the Minister of Education. During the past week, Sayyid Sami Hosseini, a political prisoner in the central prison of Urumiyeh, started a hunger strike in protest of his transfer to Section 4 of the prison. Rather than responding to this prisoner's objections, the prison officials took him to solitary confinement. Since last week, Abdullah Sadouri, a political prisoner in the central prison of Tabriz, has gone on a dry hunger strike in support of 5 civil activists in Azerbaijan who were on hunger strike. According to this report, Mr. Sadouri was taken to solitary confinement and his health is now in critical condition.
Masoud Pedram, a member of the National Religious Activist Council, who is passing a previous sentence in Evin prison, once again is faced with a prison sentence. With this new 1-year sentence, his total prison sentence will be 4 years, meaning that he will remain in Evin prison for another 2 years. Arzang Davoudi was sentenced in the Revolutionary Court of Bandar Abbas city without his presence or the presence of his lawyers, with new accusations of waging war against God through his membership of a hypocritical group. On the morning of Wednesday the 14th of August, 6 individuals accused of rape were executed by hanging in Karun prison in the city of Ahvaz. Following protests by a group over the speech of a member of parliament who insulted the law minority, 15 people were arrested, 2 of whom, Reza Akvanian and Tahar Akvanian, are still in prison.
Omid Kokabi, a scientist in Evin prison, is invited to do a presentation at the annual conference of physics in Birjand University in the field of laser technology. However, the Tehran prosecutor and the security institutions are opposing his appearance at the conference. Omid Kokabi has been in the political security section of Evin prison, section 350, for over 30 months without a single day's leave. It has been reported that Majid Dori, an imprisoned student suspended from school, wrote a letter from Karun prison in the city of Ahvaz, describing the inhumane conditions in Bahbahan prison and the way he was transferred from this city to Karun prison in Ahvaz. As part of this academic and activist letter, there was a strong criticism of the lack of independence of the judiciary as well as the pressures that he and his family are under.
Tens of Ahvaz citizens were put on trial as part of a campaign by security forces involving the arrest of 500 Arabs in different cities. In recent months, the judicial security system of the Islamic Republic of Iran has increased its issuing of heavy sentences against cultural and political Arab activists in the city of Ahvaz. Following the continuous threats and pressure on Christians in Iran, the security forces of the Islamic Republic of Iran arrested 3 Christian converts living in the city of Tabriz. Their names are Farshid Modarez, Mohammad Reza Piri, and Yashar Farzino. During the past week, the court judiciary prevented the discharge of a priest, Farhad Sabokru, and his wife with the excuse of having the legal file lost. This is despite the existence of multiple copies of this file, rendering the likelihood that it was lost very low. On Tuesday, the 13th of August, intelligence officers of Mashhad city were referred to the house of a Baha'i woman named Fataneh Nabilizadeh, and after an inspection of the place, they arrested her and 2 others by the names of Peyman Saraf and Dayan Timuri. On Monday, the 13th of August, Hadi Rashidi was taken to an unknown location. He is a chemistry teacher who received a master's degree in applied chemistry and is also one of the 5 Arabs in the city of Ahvaz sentenced to death in the Revolutionary Court of Ahvaz city. Ali Ahmed Suleiman, a Kurdish political prisoner from a Kurdish region in Syria, who was earlier sentenced to death and fined by Branch 12 of the Criminal Court of Oromia city, had his sentence approved and officially announced to him by the Supreme Court. Mohsen Esmaili, Syed Ibrahim Bahrami, Muhammad Ali Sadeghi, and Muhammad Ali Deghan, 4 dervishes imprisoned in the Adal Abad prison of Shiraz city, were sentenced by Branch 1 of the Public Court in the province of Kavar, presided by Judge Kashkuli, and with the presence of defense lawyers Hasini, Nazari, and Sadeghi. These dervishes were accused of forming a terrorist group against the regime, attending protests intended to overthrow the government, waging war against God, and shipping illegal weapons.
Hamid Mahmoudinejad, a member of Coordinating Committee to aid the formations of workers' organizations, was accused of propaganda against the Islamic Republic of Iran by the Revolutionary Court in Sanandaj and was given a 1-year suspended sentence. Furthermore, during the past week, Faramaz Aslani, the Secretary of the Workers in Hamadan, reported the continuation of uncertainty experienced by 67 Qarch Sina workers for 2 years. He said that after 2 years, due to bankruptcy of the factory, these workers have yet to receive their claims. On Saturday morning, the 11th of August, hundreds of Zanjan citizens set up a gathering in protest against the pollution caused by the lead and zinc factories in the outskirts of Zanjan city, especially the lead and zinc factory located 15 kilometers from the city, which is in front of the offices of the Supreme Leader's representative in the province and the governor of Zanjan city. Furthermore, in the past 7 months, over 100 labourers of Sazonra Contracting Company in the city of Qom have not received their salaries. 21 members of the Coordinating Committee to aid the formation of workers' organizations wrote a statement objecting against the summoning, interrogation and trials against the workers and labour activists, calling verdicts against labour activists unfair and asking for the trials to be reconsidered and revoked. Currently, there are legal cases being built against the members of these workers' associations in the cities of Sanandaj, Rasht, Mahabad and Bukan.
Hamed Atai, a journalist and founder of a news website named Aina News, was summoned by the first branch of the Revolutionary Court after waiting for 3 years, where his sentence was issued. He was taken to the central prison in Urumia city to spend his conviction period. Davun Ahmad Gol, a successor of the Fatay Police Disciplinary Headquarters of Rom City, said that according to the new guidelines, which is officially used all over the country, Internet cafe users are required to provide a valid identification to be able to use the facilities of the Internet cafe.
The weekly visitations of a number of female political prisoners and prisoners of conscience with their children has been stopped in Evin prison since 3 weeks ago. This action was taken by the prison officials and the Tehran prosecutor without providing any explanations. Furthermore, Nina Siarkali Muradi, a young girl from the city of Qazvin, who in the city council elections was selected 14th as the understudy, was suddenly faced with disqualification. The reasons given by the authorities for this disqualification were disobedience towards Islamic standards, which caused more controversy.
Fatemeh Rakhshani, Deputy Minister of Health at the Ministry of Health and Medical Education of Iran, has stated that 700,000 Iranians will be under the poverty line annually due to rising medical costs in the country. Over the past week, roughly 100 trees dating back more than 40 years in the vicinity of Dakhaya Tehran Square have been cut down. The municipality of Tehran denies this, saying that they only cut 2 trees. On Sunday the 20th of August, the police chief of Tehran said that more than 500 homeless individuals were arrested during the last week in the Malawi area of Tehran. Mr. Hamed Hussein Runaghi, father of Hussein Runaghi, has requested that everyone pay attention to his condition and that he be granted sick leave, otherwise there is a possibility that something very serious may happen to him. Prosecutors and prison officials have reportedly continued to prevent Asghar Katan, a political prisoner suffering from cancer, from visiting the hospital. On Wednesday the 13th of August, Branch 104 of the Criminal Court in the city of Tabriz summoned Saman Jahanpur due to his protest over the drying of Urumia Lake. According to reports, Masoud Zahedian, the head of the morality police, announced that the hijab situation hasn't changed in the past 5 years. He also added that to monitor the status of women's hijab in the country, the police are filming in the city on a monthly basis. Mohammed Ali Taheri is in a very bad condition and has been held in solitary confinement in Ward 209 of Evin Prison. 4 weeks have passed since the announcement of his hunger strike. He was arrested by the intelligence agency in 2011. His physical and mental condition is critical at the moment.